presses, ladies and gentlemen. Kylie Jenner has $1,200 towards the $100 million she needs to become a full-fledged billionaire like the Rockefellers. If she can get that much money, so can we. Do your part. Give to our Patreon if you wish.
If you don't, the Nazis win.
And welcome to 30 and Nerdy. My name is AJ.
I'll take Catch the Seaman for 800.
I'm Brady.
We can't keep playing if you don't let go of the pickle. That's what your mother said last night.
And my name is David.
I turned out your mother last night. It's a prison term. It means I've got her working as a prostitute in my employ. My mother is infirm. She uses a walker. She is a walker. A street walker.
And what a sad world we live in when Kylie Jenner is getting a GoFundMe so she can become a billionaire.
Yeah, and meanwhile, I've got nothing. But hey, I've got my happiness, and
Some
that's
pennies to rub together.
Those
shekels will keep me warm at night.
Yeah, I don't have any pennies to put in my eyes when I die.
I'll cover you, bro.
No, thanks, man.
Okay.
I only need 2.
My daughter might be able to help you with this.
Yeah, my third eye is gone because of all the fluoride in her water.
Holy crap. Well, anyway, so welcome to 30 Nerdy. Today, we're just going to kind of have like a more of a sit back and chill episode. Because we do tend to go off topic, it's good to at least like have an episode where...
Get out of your system.
Just to...
It's not going to happen.
Expunge it, you know?
It's like a nice campfire chat that's inside of a GameStop. It's on fire! Take everything! Oh, fuck, they got 12 copies of Sneak King! That's $2 a game.
So much money. Oh, I forgot to give you... So, one of my neighbors had about 10 copies of Sunset Overdrive in the back of his truck. And
why?
His friend went to the Toys R Us and bought every Xbox game that they had.
Did they?
Because they were marked down to like nothing. It was like the day they closed.
So you have a copy of Sunset Overdrive waiting for you.
Oh, baby.
So
yeah.
That's me being giving this year is he gave all of them to me. It was
Just
like,
wait till Christmas. I want to unwrap it.
Yeah. And they did get a little water damage from the storm because he kept them out in his truck during that huge
torrential downpour.
Yeah, but they're in great playing shape. I've got it in my Xbox and it's installed. I haven't played it yet.
Which one is Sunset Overdrive? I'm trying to...
It was like more like a parkour shooter, I believe.
Okay, yeah,
Lots
I
of
know
like
which one you're talking about
rooftops
now.
and shit.
Yeah.
You got like light rollerblades, don't you?
Maybe.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about now.
But so I'm giving everybody a copy of Sunset Overdrive that has
you
an
get a
Xbox.
copy of Sunset Overdrive. You get a copy of Sunset Overdrive. Everybody gets a copy of Sunset Overdrive.
She's right. There's one under my chair.
It's a bit waterlogged, Oprah. Shut up.
So I was listening to the radio this morning because I worked at 6 a.m. and I kid you not, and it usually takes me about, 30 seconds to a minute to get out of my neighborhood and to the stoplight. And literally the person or the people that were talking, because it was sports radio, that's what I had on there. And because normally I have to connect my phone and listen to like No Sleep or something like that on my way to work.
Oh, yeah.
And
No Bob and Tom?
no, are they on it Saturday morning at 6 a.m.?
No, they're only weekdays.
Saturdays they are.
Really?
They do a rerun of one of the week's episodes.
Who wants to listen to rerun? Well, I guess if you never listen to it,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be a rerun to you.
But I started the car and they were in the middle of some conversation, and the guy for probably 40 seconds, I had no clue what he was talking about because it just kept on saying things like, and it just is like, this, that, and I mean, he just was babbling on, but just using words.
Speaking and saying nothing.
And I was like, this sounds worse than us in our beginning.
So,
I mean, we're not great right now, but we're better than that.
Yeah.
Dang it.
We can at least say our topic and not just, when, the thing with the,
I still
hate
have trouble
that.
with that,
But moving off from that, besides, I just wanted to say, be an old crotchety man and say,
Well, how are the Cubbies?
that's why I hate baseball and radio.
And
The dumbest thing
at least-
you can play on the radio is like, oh, they're playing baseball, and it's just like every now and again you hear like a crack, and he's running,
Well, I'll take that back.
and he's on first.
The old school Yankees announcers were really great because they were from the heyday of Yankees when they had the murderers row of just when they won 18 in a row. I know it's not actually 18, but they won a ton.
Might as well be.
And so they'd tell old stories of like Mickey Mantle and Babe Ruth. I mean, just different stories of like clubhouse stuff. And so I found that interesting when it was just the downtimes of, oh, it's in between innings, or oh, they're had this 77th foul ball. But my topic I want to talk about today, kind of because we're just going to be talking about what we played and what we're doing. I am really
How
excited.
your life's going?
Well, today was a crappy day, for me at least, because yesterday was the first day that I did ordering. I mean, by myself ordering. And
How many
produces,
extra did you order?
I ordered 21 cases of organic radishes.
Oh, shit.
So if you need some radishes, they are $3 for $1 right now. Get them while you, because we're going to have them for about the next 2 months.
You're
so
the people's champion.
Get them at your local Ankeny Hy-Vee.
and then I also ordered, but they are more healthy, purple cauliflower.
Ooh.
That
What,
you may never know. That might become a hit, and then they're going to be like, "Well, I want that purple cauliflower."
what's the purple
David.
ad? Is it just wacky?
No, it has a different enzyme in it.
Yeah.
I
That's
like
what calls
cauliflower.
it.
And it's actually, I think it's either the same price or cheaper than the regular cauliflower.
So I know a lot of people use cauliflower like in a pasta maker, and they make pasta noodles with it and stuff.
So you could have purple noodles.
Cool.
You already have a purple noodle, but you could have several purple
I knew
noodles.
that was coming.
Yep, it's from using it too often with girls.
Oh, it's like a big eggplant.
Yeah, I'm going to the doctor tomorrow for it.
Oh, speaking of doctors, I also went to the dentist. Finally,
no.
years.
David after dentist.
Yeah, and I was, because I've hated the dentist most of my life because when I was a small kid, I had tons of teeth pulled, and so I went, and because since I had smoked and chewed, I was just fearful that they were going to find something. And so I literally for months, knowing I was going to be going to the dentist, I just would wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning thinking, I'm going to be,
They're gonna
they're
tear
going to
my
find
mouth
something,
open.
they're going to find something that I'm going to be dead in like 2 months. And
I'm
then,
gonna have cancer.
and so literally, and I think this is good either way, but on my computer. So if I do die at some point in time without, expecting it to happen, there is on my computer several files to be given to my wife and kids so they can listen to my voice when I'm gone.
Yeah,
We have hours and hours of podcasts. They
Well,
can
but I
listen-
mean, this will be
No,
for
yeah.
them,
Yeah, I know.
not just me dicking around.
No,
on,
that's definitely cool. Like that's one of the reasons why I like doing this podcast, because if something happens, my daughter will be able to listen to these once she's like 15, 16 years old and be like, wow, my dad was like a funny guy, but he sounded so sad, but he was also hilarious as hell, and he was a great man. And
Why
he
did my
talked
dad
about
sound like a wiener?
or I'd sound like a big floppy dick. Just a big old bag of sand.
But anyway, so I went to the dentist and they're like, "So are you kind of nervous?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm."
They give you that gas?
No.
Oh, you
But
can
the
request
really,
that, can't you?
the really nice thing is I love my dentist because I mean back when I was in high school we'd always talk about games and stuff like that, and he runs like a D&D group at his church, like the just kind of team building.
A D&D
Holy-
at a church?
Yeah, I think he's like
Holy
either.
D&D?
I'm assuming it's not holy, but
My grandma still thinks D&D is evil.
is the devil, dumbest thing in the world. But so I really liked him. I just hate the dentist more than I like talking to him about video games.
Of course.
Yeah.
And so I
That's
went
usually how
there,
it goes.
and my wife was like, "You know what? You're gonna go, and you're gonna wind up having no cavities, nothing wrong." Went there, I have like one tiny cavity that they're not gonna even worry about taking care of till my 6-month checkup. So, all that worrying for nothing. I was like, "So is there anything on the X-rays or anything?" Because I had to take X-rays. I was like, "Nope. Now they're gonna find something. It's
All your
all
teeth
coming over."
Are missing.
You know what's funny is I think I have more to worry about if I go to the dentist, which I was supposed to, and then I had to cancel it because that was the day KJ had to go get her surgery. So, and then KJ's like been prodding at me like, you should really go to the dentist. Well, now I have a reason not to, because I go back to work on Monday. I'm sorry, can't go. I've got some work to do.
I'm afraid to go because and this is not exaggerated, I brush my teeth maybe once a month. And I'm not kidding you.
No, I brush mine like once a week. I'm really terrible at it.
I do morning and evening.
I just don't care enough. And it's not like, when I do brush my teeth, KJ still doesn't want to kiss me. So I don't get any perk out of brushing except for like less minty.
Yeah, your mouth tastes like mint for like an hour.
Yeah. But then you can't drink Mountain Dew because the orange juice and the mint just don't do good.
I have this Crest mouthwash that it prevents plaque, and it actually does work, but you taste it for like a day afterwards.
I have this Crest stuff, and if you use it, it flakes up, and you end up with like blue flakes in your mouth.
Ooh.
It's really gross.
Also, when I brush my teeth, my gums bleed. So if I
Bleeding gums
if
cooker.
I don't brush my teeth, if I don't brush my teeth, my gums don't bleed. So,
But because the really funny thing and how the human mind works is because, I mean, literally I was just having minor anxiety attacks, and it would never happen at, if there's something about the human psyche and just, I don't know, evolutionary biology and how our minds have developed to where, like, during the day, besides when I was at work, and that's all I could think about was, I'm going to die, blah, 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 all these depressing things.
I've been
And
there.
just-
Like,
And because since I don't have anybody to talk to, but when I would talk to somebody, then it's out of my mind. I'm not thinking about it. Or when I'd come home and I'd see my kids and we'd be playing and doing stuff and it's out of my mind. Then I'd go to bed. I'd be fine. Wake up at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and then that's the only thing I can think about, and I can't get back to sleep. And that's like months of just anxiety at the butt crack of dawn.
so
Then I go to the dentist. Everything is fine. Sleep like a baby. So it's just amazing what, the human mind can cause you to do to lose sleep, and then all of a sudden, once you actually face quote unquote your fears, because it wasn't really a fear, but it was, I guess it was a fear, but I don't know, it wasn't like a crippling fear.
yeah,
It just was
it wasn't something that you were like, oh my god, this is happening, I'm gonna die. I don't know. I totally exactly know how you feel because of all of the cancer scares that I have had, and the one that's still ongoing for me with my lymph nodes. So I get that quite often, not nearly as much as I used to back when they thought I had colon cancer. But when I thought I had colon cancer, I was doing everything I could to make sure that Lola had like memories of me. I was taking pictures every day. I recorded files just for her for like her birthdays and stuff. I went all out because I didn't think I was gonna meet her at first, because that's the first time they had the scare with it, and then the second time happened, she was already a year old, and it was scary as hell. I mean, and the worst part is when you're going through it, you're talking about your panic attacks. The panic attack is your body having a fight or flight response to the stress of thinking about that and having that on your shoulders, and that's what causes the main source of panic attacks.
And the brain isn't good at dealing with prolonged stress.
And that's all we do to our bodies anymore. We're in a state of heightened stress at all times, with our jobs, with our families.
When it used to just be, is that a bear?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not a bear. Okay.
It's
Is it a cougar?
Your body's sitting there trying to compensate for something that it hasn't ever dealt with before, because before it had a reason. You would get a panic attack, and what panic attacks generally do, they speed up, they shoot adrenaline into your body, they speed up your heart rate, and then they're supposed to make you shit. That's why you get the runs a lot when you're nervous, because the less your body weighs, the faster you can run.
I like it shedding weight.
Yeah.
And your butt's lubed up so you can run frictionless.
So, I mean, like, it sounds hilarious, but that's the truth behind it. I mean, I've always been really interested in this stuff mainly because I do have horrible anxiety issues. I do have depression and everything else. So, you know, right now, like with a lot of people, our brains have never had to deal with this, so they don't know how to respond to it. And your chemicals get imbalanced. That's how you end up getting depression and shit like that. I mean, there's always been, you know, like the darker side of everything, where it's like the schizophrenia and everything else that we did not know how to treat, and we just threw them into the most horrible places possible. But you know, it's an odd thing to go through, and if anybody out there is going through it, you know, I feel really bad, and I can relate with how you're feeling.
Word.
I need to go to the dentist.
But
what sucks for Brady, his parents spent shit tons of money to make sure he got really nice straight clackers.
My teeth are straight. It's just that they have
see, I had the same
a
thing.
coat on.
I had the same thing. Like my parents, I got braces, and I have one tooth that is kind of popped back. But I had a retainer on the bottom, and it was when I was at college, and we had these because I kept our room clean, and I roomed with you remember Mike?
Yeah, I remember Mike.
And I had a retainer, and since I kept our room clean, we had visitors, and they would stay in our room because it was clean, as opposed to other guys' rooms that were just a pit. And
You have always been a big neat freak.
Yep.
Teach me.
Yeah. And so these kids were there, and I think that they had theirs because I had my retainer up on the very top because they have those modular sets so the beds can go on top of each other and the desks and all that kind of jazz. And so I had on top of the dressers, and like Mike's was on the bottom, mine was on the top, and then it got thrown away or I couldn't find it. So that's like $400.
Yeah.
And my parents were like, all right, well, we'll help you out with this. And then it happened again where somebody threw it away. And I think it was like the security came through, and they, the idiots, because we weren't allowed to have candles lit, but we could have the candle warmers. So I had candle warmers because I also like my rooms to smell nice.
Of course.
Yeah.
And so then the dummy picked up the candle and was like, oh, what's this? And like tipped it, so wax goes everywhere.
Oh my god.
And so it got on like papers and everything, probably where my retainer was, and that all went in the garbage. And
Why are you touching stuff that isn't yours?
and so then I was like, well, I'm not gonna,
because it's security, they have to do their sweeps.
Oh, security.
and I was like, well, I'm not gonna tell my parents because that's another $400, and I don't have $400 to pay for it, so
Yeah,
I just never went back.
Screw it. I don't need a retainer now.
But anyway, getting away from dentists, getting away from the sadness of thinking
let's
we're
get away
dying.
from some heavy stuff, and
I want to get into what I'm excited about.
Tell
and
me.
what I've been thinking about is because, and I talked to your wife the other day, is about playing Warhammer 40K with you guys.
Yep. She brought that up to me, and she said something about going to Mayhem, and I was explaining to her that I don't really like to go to that place unless I have money, because I don't like to just use their game room and split. But if David don't care, well then I guess I don't care, and I'm really down for playing some Warhammer.
Because the fun thing is, I don't have a lot of the new cool units like the
cares?
$180 things that are just awesome, but I have a lot of the same stuff. Besides, I have
Give me Abaddon.
I don't have him yet. I'm working on my chaos stuff right now.
Give me them chaos.
I probably won't have enough by the time. Maybe I will by the time we end up playing.
Fine
but,
then. Give me that Tau.
But I don't have the Tau. We sold that. You're going to be playing some form of Space Marine. Either you're going to be Blood Angel, Grey Knights. I'll give you Grey Knights because they're all. Or you can be vanilla Crimson Fist.
How boring. I'd much rather be Blood Angels or the
Fine.
Grey Goose.
Blood Angels, and we'll divvy out the other ones. But because there's this cool app called Battle Scribe is the app, and it is pretty cool. All you have to do is they have tons of different tabletop games from like Lord of the Rings to Game of Thrones to Warhammer 8th edition. And so you just have to download your rule set, and it has every army, and people have uploaded like, every person, and it'll give you. So the really cool thing is you can print out your sheets, so your army and it'll show you all their what it is to hit and wound and how much damage to do, how many attacks, all the special abilities they have.
So you don't need to have the book.
So technically, you don't need to buy the books anymore.
That's nice.
I mean,
unless you want the story and
and there are a few things like there's some command points that you can use because they change things up to where if you have like a battle forged army, I think you get certain amount of command points. If you have a certain style of army, like if you want, you can go like super heavy into HQ, and you can have like 5 headquarters units, and you'll get 5 CP or something like that. And then you can use those once per 1 CP point, or I mean, however many, because there's different abilities. Like there's one where you can use 1 CP to re-roll a dice. Any dice besides if you've already re-rolled it, because you can never re-roll a re-roll.
Yeah, you can't do that.
And so you can kind of, with the Battleforged app, you can.
Well, that's it. I'm playing orcs.
I mean,
or nids.
Well, then I'll see. I'll get Luke's nids. I think he still has some.
I wouldn't mind trying it. It seems like it'd be a big difficult to handle that many creatures, but.
They changed a lot of fun things. A lot of people seem to be mixed on 8th edition. I kind of like it because they changed because before it was like weapon skill to weapon skill. So if you had somebody who had a weapon skill 5 to somebody who you were attacking and going 4, it was then you needed 3s to hit. But now they just had you hit on 2+, you hit on 3+, you shoot and hit on 4+ or 3+ or all that kind of jazz, which I really like because then it just takes all the, well, if they have 5 and I have 3, then it's 2.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there was this little flow chart where it was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on one end and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the bottom, and it kind of, I can't remember what those charts are called, but and so it's really,
so it simplified it.
It made also,
and this is a game that could really use some simplification.
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't me trying to be like a, because I know like everybody's like, oh, stupid casual players like to ruin everything. You have a game that the entrance for is extremely rough.
Yeah.
And if you want more people to play, you need to at least, maybe make it just a bit more simple to understand. Because I remember when I got my first codec for Tau, and I was reading it, and it's just like getting flooded with so much information that I just wanted to take a nap. It was just like, I don't understand any of this shit. And Dave's like, well, you're not going to understand it until you actually play.
Yeah. At least, and that's the way it is for me. I just have to go through it, and you have to.
Yeah, and we talked about that with the one episode where we were talking about me and computer programming, where I couldn't learn by the book.
Yep.
So.
But they also added a few different things, like they took away. They used to have blast templates, which are just little clear plastic things.
The green things.
And so now you can pre-measure. So you can see who's in range of what weapon instead of going, well, I'm going to go this to this, and then you hope that you're within range. I mean, you can kind of guess 24 inches, but
yeah,
because different weapons have different things. And so that really is nice because then you can bunch up your people, and you're not going to be worried about, are they all going to fit under this blast template? Or are you going to like conga line them all the way across so you have a squad of 10 that takes up a whole table? And the one annoying thing, but I guess it makes sense, but I was annoyed because I would have wiped out Luke's whole entire squad in one shot. Because there's a Demolisher cannon on this, the Vindicator tank, and it's a strength 10. Nice thing is they also took away instant death, so because it used to be if the weapons damages double your toughness, then your guy was just instantly dead.
Yeah.
Now they've kind of changed it to things have AP or like armor points.
Yep.
Or armor piercing. So if you have a save of 3 and a thing has a -3 AP, that means your save goes up to 6, and then if you have a -AP 4, then it goes to 7, and you don't get a save.
Yeah.
Unless you have an invulnerable. And the way that I was reading the rules is it has a heavy D6 when there's 10 or more people in a squad. Otherwise, it's D3 attacks. So I got like 5. I wounded on 3, and then the damage, which is like the amount of wounds that you can cause, is like D6 wounds. So with those 3 things, I did like 11. And the squad, I think, has 10 people in it with single wounds. I think they may have double wounds, but I can't remember. Either way, it would have either had the whole entire squad or killed it outright.
Damn.
But the thing is that the wounds don't carry over like they used to, where you'd be like, I got 77 wounds on this, and you have to like attribute all of them out and then save on all of them. Whereas this, if you just fail to save, then you just lose 3 people out of the squad or whatever. Or three wounds from the squad if they have double. I know this is probably really boring, but it kind of simplifies it, and I enjoy it.
For me, it's nice to hear. I'm pretty sure Brady's the one who's like,
No, I just like any game where you get to roll a bunch of dice.
Yeah.
yeah, Warhammer's
That's
the
my
game for you,
favorite
man.
thing about D&D.
And the really funny thing,
You
all
get
these
like these giant boxes of D6s, and you just go.
Nice.
but
They're all ones.
and I really like how in our group, the Facebook page, where I'm posting all these Warhammer 40K memes, and they are getting lots of love, which makes me happy that people like Warhammer 40K in our group.
Well, I do know that a lot of our audience is from the UK, and that shit's huge there.
And I'm super jealous of them because
They get all the good stuff.
yeah. So I'm hoping to one day plan a trip to England land, the motherland.
It's got land in
We
the
just
name already.
lost a bunch of subscribers.
Well, technically, I guess my motherland is I don't know, Polish or something like that.
I'm
And Irish.
German, Irish, and Italian. So
I think I'm a European mutt.
So I'm 2 different dictators and and a drinker. Ha ta
But-
ta.
Let's go hand in hand.
Yeah, but I'm hoping to go over there for with my wife, and then just happen to stumble into a Games Workshop. And be like,
hey,
I might as
look,
while I'm
look,
here.
Look
How'd
at
we get
this. David, did you plan this in the root? No, I didn't. It just it's here. We're here. Let's just go. And she'd be like, we're going to the Dolce & Gabbana next door. I don't know why there's a Games Workshop and a Dolce & Gabbana next to each other, but
You can
in the
put all your
UK it
stuff in
definitely
those
could happen.
expensive bags.
I like it.
Yeah.
But
Speaking of UK, I just want to give a big, warm, happy shout out to everybody that protested Trump. You're doing the Lord's work.
Oh, me
and
too.
We appreciate
They-
you.
Here's my favorite thing about Trump is he took an area that's known for repressing all of their emotions into cupcakes and bake-offs, and instead they
unless your name is
exploded.
Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah, and instead they exploded and they chanted and they were just so full. They were only expecting like 50,000 people. 250,000 people showed up to boo him. And my favorite thing right now is that big
The
Baby balloon.
the
little
big baby balloon getting photoshopped into just like random pictures of Trump with like the
Yeah.
Queen. He was such a jackass, man.
Well, you knew that was going to happen.
Like she invited him to tea and he shows up like 30-45 minutes late, and then he's like, hey, let's go look at your soldiers. I want to see their hats. They're gonna be huge. And she's like in fucking heels and they're going through like a yard, and he's just like way ahead of her, and she's just like frailly. I just think
Well,
back.
she's like 900 years old too.
Here's the thing, though. I can remember when Obama made his trip out there, and he held his arm out and helped her walk. He was like a Boy Scout, and it was nice. I just miss that in a president anymore.
I just thought
You know what's
the
bad?
rally was awesome.
I would much rather have a war criminal like George W. Bush in the office. Do you remember how not drama full it was? Just all like, yeah, we're in a fucking forever war, but it wasn't like every day like breaking news.
Fool me once, shame on you.
Fool me twice, shame on.
Won't get fooled again.
You won't get fooled again.
You know what they say? Fool me once, strike one. But fool me twice, strike three.
You know, I miss that when the big news was like, oh, so the president said something kind of silly.
He can't pronounce nuclear. But who can?
So, I don't know. But yeah, thank you so much for our UK listeners. If you were part of that crowd, give yourself a motherfucking high five. You earned it. And I would love to to come to your country sometime as well. I've
Buy you
always
some tea and crumpets.
yeah, that would be fucking badass. I want some fucking biscuits.
I just want the tea. Because
They're-
they have some strong tea back out there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they come here and they're like, "What's this fucking orange Pico cut bullshit? Where's my fucking Earl Grey? Earl Grey, hot."
So that's what I've been working on, is just trying to formulate because I don't want it to be 2,000 points each, because then that's going to be like a 4-hour game. But
What about like 1,000 or
yeah,
1,500?
I was going to do about 1,000 to 1,500, but I was going to do it in power level, because that's the other thing they changed, is power level is kind of for...
What, 9,000?
Yeah. Is where you basically pay the power level and you get everything, so you don't have to pay the points for, like, if you want everybody to have power fists instead of just chain swords. So it kind of gives you can have a little bit more fun and not... I think it's just a good introduction to it. Plus, it's also... I like building my models to have the best stuff anyway.
By the way, if you are a Warhammer player right now on Xbox, the streaming service or whatever, Xbox Game Pass, they have Warhammer Vindication 2.
Vermintide.
Or Vermintide, that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking about downloading that.
Which one is that?
That is set in Warhammer Fantasy, I believe. Because Vermintide, they're the Skaven, or like...
Oh, I thought it said
Overcoming.
that it was 40K. Either way.
No, but it still is in Warhammer. I was really hoping that Inquisitor Martyr would show up on...
Oh, that would be so
Oh,
nice.
because I would pick that bad boy up so bad. So fast. Can't talk.
Is that the new one that just came
Yeah.
out? Yep.
I've been
want
watching
that
Let's
game
Plays.
so bad.
I've been watching Let's Plays, and I kind of want to get on PC, but I also am afraid that my computer will, like, not run it well.
David, do
Yeah,
you
yeah,
have like
yeah.
about $100 to $150 to spend?
I do not. And if I did, I'd probably be going to buy something in Warhammer. Because I'd be
Okay,
like,
well,
I could get a
'cause-
graphics card, or I could buy this one unit.
Because I've been seeing GTX 1050 Ti's go up for sale because they just announced their 1100 line.
Oh, nice.
So 1000s and 900s are going to go straight
Sweet.
down. So if you were to buy like a GTX 980 and put it in your computer, it'll blow the card that you have in there out of the water, and you would be future set. So you can play almost anything right now. Woo! Because I have a...
Crisis.
Yeah, it'll run Crysis at 60 frames. Yeah. I mean, I have a GTX 1070 Ti in my computer, and it's a beast. I've never had an issue running any games unless I was also trying to record, and that was when I was trying to record Doom.
Oh yeah, that was.
But when I play Doom on my own, it automatically sets to the highest settings, and it
Plays just fine.
60 frames. I get a few frame drops.
Speaking of that, I want to do another Hot Ones challenge where we actually have our sound working.
That would be nice.
Actual
also,
painful sauce.
yeah. And I've been doing a lot of home recording because I made like 2 of those FL Studio videos, so I have a bit more of a greater grasp on
how to do it.
Yeah, I think what the issue was is that I had everything already set up before, and I was just trying to use the template I already set up. When all I had to do was delete the capture that it wouldn't capture, and just go, okay, capture that, and then it worked just fine. So,
But yeah, I want to do another Hot Ones, but I want to do kind of like a best of 3 or something like that, where we have
And
maybe
a game
some
we're
different
both
sauces.
familiar with.
Yeah,
yeah, because Cuphead,
it's poopy. I mean, it's good, but it's poopy.
it's rough. I would say I have Burnout Paradise, which is the best Burnout that was made. If you guys could figure out like a track or a race to do in that one,
Or
you could do biggest explosions.
Yeah.
and maybe try and find an old Need for Speed Hot Pursuit and see who can last the longest.
Ooh. I'm
I
pretty
like
sure
it.
you can pick that up on Steam, like dirt
Yeah,
cheap.
for $2 even after the Steam sale.
Hot Pursuit 2. I call Lamborghini Murcielago.
It's fine. I'll take the Porsche. Be running circles around you.
That's fine. I'll
cute.
sit there and watch because I can't eat that hot shit. But those wings you brought over without sauce,
They were pretty good.
so good. Say so good, made my butthole like explode. They were delicious, and that Lola's sauce was really good.
Yeah.
It was very good.
But way too fucking hot for me. I'm a big puss.
They make more easily digestible sauce too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Made locally too.
Yeah, that's a Des Moines thing, I think.
Yep. Lola's is made in Des Moines.
Yeah, but if we do it, I'm gonna order a few sauces off, like hot ones, like the actual, because they have their own. Like, here's all the hot sauces we kind of use, and so that way we can get like Satan's butthole and whatever else.
My parents have a witch's brew of hot sauce and hot peppers that they've grown themselves.
I
to
like
bring
it.
Over. I've had a pinpricks amount on the end of a toothpick, and it was a nightmare.
I like it. I mean, I probably won't like it when I lose, but I like it.
Like it's the kind of hot level where if you think you'll have some shock where your throat will swell, it will do it. I'm not even kidding you.
So when you took it, or when you had just a little dab of it, it was painful. So what if it was like drenched on a piece of chicken?
Instant regret.
Do you think that you would have a vision quest?
I might.
Do you think it would cause you to hallucinate and go straight into fighting your spirit animal?
Yes, maybe.
Let's get this sauce.
I think my spirit animal is a snail. Maybe a sloth.
I was just ready to say maybe a sloth.
Can I be a manatee? They're so gentle.
No way, dude. Who wants to be a sea cow?
They're gentle and they have the most human-like.
So whenever
Human like vaginas, is that what you said?
So whenever I think of manatees, I always think of the Horse, the band.
Oh.
The song Manatee about a
Yep.
depressed manatee, and it's just like, just fucking kill me.
I think of the huge manatee.
Oh yeah. Memes.
Memes, am I right?
So I'm just gonna go ahead and cut in here. So with me, I kind of want to talk about how I'm doing personally. I know I've talked about my depression a lot on this show, and I guess it would be good to actually talk about that I'm doing a shit ton better. I'm finally on a medication mix that works really well, and I'm the happiest I've ever been, and it shows in the things I'm doing, and that's where I'm realizing it. So about a week ago or so, I had an idea for a story, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to write it, and I'm going to submit it to the No Sleep podcast and see if I can get it narrated on there. And I finished that on Friday the 13th at 12:01 a.m.
Hail Satan.
And then I did my proofreading, I did an edit, and it came out really well. And so I just submitted it right then and there. Nobody else had read it except for me. Brady has since read it, and he says it's pretty good.
I like it a whole lot.
So, and then I'll send it to you. It's a .doc, so you might have to find a way to be able to open it. But
Didn't work on my phone, but
if you have like a PDF reader or like a print app on your phone,
I did. I tried it.
Oh, lame. Either way, so there's that. Then Brady and we started a band.
Yeah.
Brady's been playing guitar forever. I've been playing guitar forever, though my main love has always been drums and bass. But guitar's there too. And I finally just got sick of, out of nowhere, I just got hit with all of this inspiration to want to write and create and build. And I was like, Brady, I want to record a song. Check out this riff. What do you think? And he's like, that's a pretty sweet riff. So we collaborated and we wrote it out in FL Studios. I made the drums in FL Studios. We recorded everything through Audacity first, imported to FL Studio, took our best takes and put them on the line. And now we have a band called Giant Lord. So if you want, you can go find us on Facebook, which is really easy. Apparently, Giant Lord had not been taken anywhere. Not even a band called Giant Lord yet.
Yeah. Just a boss in Dark Souls 2.
Yeah. It's the Giant Lord.
That's the origins.
So yeah, like come give us a like. You can check out our song. It's called All I've Got. It's just the medium draft. I am taking my microphone home, and I'm hoping to get some lyrics put down on it on Wednesday. Because Brady and I tooled out some lyrics. They work out really well with the song.
They're evil as fuck.
Yeah, the main verse riff that Brady wrote's one of the darkest riffs I've heard. It just fills me so full of dark energy.
I don't want to toot my own horn, but it sounds like first 3 Sabbath album riff.
Yeah, it's good. And I'm surprised how all of this is just easy for me to do. Like, it's exhausting. That's the one thing I wasn't planning on, is just how exhausting it is to play the same riff over and over for 15, 20 minutes at a time. Okay. And then sit there and listen to it for an hour. This take sucks. This take sucks. This one's really good. This one's on the pocket. We're going to use this one.
And then listening to the same 2 seconds in a row to like, no, that's not right yet. No, that's not right yet.
Yeah, just to get it to all match up. Because
That's why
here's the
people
thing.
pay people to do that part.
With FL Studio, we could record directly in, but there's too much of a delay. There's a giant lag there. So even if we were listening and then playing at the same time,
It's near impossible to get your... It's like trying to write with your left hand. Or
yeah,
right hand.
it would sound off and it wouldn't work well. And when I tried to do it, the recording just came out shitty. So we're recording only to click tracks and through Audacity. So I play a click track on my phone. We take one headphone off and we're sitting there writing our riffs to the click. So, but yeah, it's a really weird thing for me to experience life the way that I'm experiencing it right now. This is the first time in my life I've not had a severe depression at every waking moment of my life. This is the first time in my life where I don't have anxiety every second of my life. I'm not freaking out about something. I'm not worried about something.
See, I wish I would be able to, because I don't know. I feel like I have these stories in me, but I don't, because I feel like they're small little snippets, and I don't know how to
Flash
fill
fiction.
in. Yeah, just where they're, I feel like I have a really good idea, but it's not like it wouldn't make a great, huge story.
Is it like that girl in the corner? People walk by her every day and no one notices her except for me. Turns out that girl hasn't existed for years.
I mean, stuff like that, yeah.
That
but
sounds
it's just,
like a really bad creepypasta.
It's from the last podcast.
Where it's all like, this girl sat next to me for decades.
Yeah, it's that one.
Or for forever. Then it turns out she didn't exist for decades. And it's just like, what?
What does that mean?
I'm lost.
But I mean, it's things like that where I see something, and then I since I listen to like No Sleep podcasts or stuff like that, I have a little bit more of the darker side
Tone,
to the idea.
See, for me, like, horror has always been the forefront for me because Stephen King is my number one go-to. Lovecraft is absolutely one of my favorite writers, though he's a stupid racist.
I know. I was going to say, I just found out about this, that I was like, I haven't looked into it, but I've heard that was a horrible racist. I did not know that for years.
You know what's funny?
How do you not know that?
Is that he was a socialist, and he thought that everybody should have access to healthcare and everything else. Also a giant racist. I mean, so one of my favorite works of his has to do with a lady who has this long hair, and she can control it like a snake or something. And then it turns out that in the very end, that the whole reason why she was so spooky is because she was a black chick. But that's literally how he ended it, and it's like, this was a wonderful tale of cosmic horror and everything, and then it's just like, oh, it was because she was black.
Could you imagine a guy sitting in a really nice leather armchair, and he's got a velvet smoking jacket on and a glass of whiskey and a cigar, and he gets that last word, and she was black, and he throws the book.
I am shooketh.
Dear wife, light the candles. I don't like the dark.
Yeah, it's so horrible. When he was a kid, his cat was named N-Man.
Ugh.
And
It's like we're back in Huckleberry.
yes,
or,
but
Huck Finn.
here's the thing though, like he started to change right before he died. New York really affected him a lot. He had everything stolen from him. This was a man who was poor, and he believed in wearing a suit no matter what. And he was a pretty big bigot, and that's the one thing that really mars his excellence to me. Where it's like, but in the end, he strayed away from a lot of that. Instead, started going with the cosmic horror that everybody knows, like Cthulhu, Shub-Niggurath, Shoggorath, just the big ancient ones.
Uh-huh.
In the end, he had a story that he had been working on. It's pretty much the Dream Quest series, and it turns out that one of his favorite characters that he had turns into Amigo, and that character gets called the N-word, and he instances it as in, you're calling somebody I love that, and I don't like that. So you could tell he started to change. If I could go back in time and tell him two things, it'd be like, drop the racism, it's dumb. Don't eat cans of beans until you die, you idiot.
What?
So
Did he have a bean-related death?
so when he died of stomach cancer because he didn't have enough money. So he would eat half a can of beans a day, and that was it. And it ended up giving him stomach cancer. And he died.
Beans. They can do that?
Well, they weren't kept in the best way.
They weren't bushes?
These were like old, crappy canned beans. Not like, look,
They're like
this
great-
person's eating can of beans in a theater. It's not like the memes. It's... He took really bad care of himself. Like, for years he didn't eat right because he couldn't afford it, and it was just an unnecessary thing. So, I mean...
Well, my cravings for beans are gone.
Yep. Thanks.
Thanks,
Yeah.
stomach cancer.
You
Thanks, stomach
bastard.
cancer. Thanks, Lovecraft. You ruined everything. No, Lovecraft will always be one of my favorites because he made so many of the writers that I love into the writers they are because of his influences, like, spread across the world. I mean, without him, Bloodborne wouldn't exist. Without him, Stephen King wouldn't exist. I'm pretty sure Stephen King would have ended up writing, but his horror would have never reached the pinnacle that it did.
I don't know, because I feel when he talks about his writing, he talks about the great Mary Shelley's Frankenstein or Dracula and stuff like that. I mean, I'm not saying he wasn't influenced by.
Well, here's the thing. Both of those people were also influenced by Lovecraft, and he corresponded with them in letters. So he talked to Mary Shelley. He talked to Bram Stoker. He talked to Robert Chambers. He loved Robert Chambers, A King in Yellow, so much that he's like, I'm going to steal it and bring it into my mythos. Which, if you haven't read The King in Yellow by Robert Chambers, it is free because it's a common license now. And pick it up on Kindle. You can just download it. Highly recommended group of stories. Wonderful, wonderful horror. Frankenstein's really good too. So is Dracula, if you can handle it. Dracula's a hard read.
Yeah. I don't know. I've talked about this a lot, about how the older classics I'd love to like, I cannot get into them.
They're a bit rough, especially Dracula, because Dracula is pretty much like reading newspaper clippings.
Yeah. That's why I think I had a problem with Stephen King's, because I really love the mythos of Salem's Lot.
Mm-hmm.
And so I really liked I can't remember which one it was it Everything's Eventual, or it was one of the like compendiums where it was just a bunch of his short stories, and it just was basically like correspondence from people in Salem's Lot, or Jerusalem's Lot, excuse me,
Yeah.
two people outside and stuff like that, and how the correspondence kind of changed and dropped off as the people in Jerusalem's Lot became vampires.
Yeah.
But I just had a hard time getting into it in that style.
Yeah, that was
Because there's like newspaper clippings and stuff like that.
That was his take on Dracula.
Yeah.
It was really good.
And I liked it. Yeah, I loved Salem's Lot. But it just, I had a hard time getting into like the little kind of just snippets.
Jerusalem's Lot, which is what that one is called. And that's in the Graveyard Shift, I believe.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Is the one that one is in.
Yep. Because I think that one also had, no, because that's Everything's Eventual, I think, has 1408.
Yeah, Everything's Eventual has 1408. Little Sisters of Illyria, which is like an add-in to the first Dark Tower book, which he actually ended up splicing in all later releases of Gunslinger.
But the person that we have to thank for Stephen King is Tabitha King.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Because she's the one who ripped out or pulled out the copy of Carrie from the trash.
And she was like, "This is good. What the hell are you throwing this away for?"
Who's that? His mom?
No, his wife.
Wife?
His
Yeah,
wife.
His mom passed away sometime shortly after. I think was he published before
He
she
was.
But he wasn't as, I mean, of
He
course
wasn't big.
He wasn't as prolific as he is now, but
But yeah,
actually
his wife.
Salem's Lot, I think, is when she passed a little bit before, because
Yeah.
he talked about it in the foreword.
Yep. Yeah, his wife is his first reader. His only, like, when he writes a book, he writes it for her. We're his constant readers, but his wife is the constant reader.
Does she read for all of his ghostwriters too?
I guess so, Brady. If that's what you want to call it.
If you want to die on that hill, Brady.
I mean, you're in a basement of two really big Stephen King fans, and we can think of a spooky way to get rid of you.
I'm afraid of nothing except
Let's go to the
spiders,
dentist.
the dark,
And the
girls.
Girls.
The power of pussy compels
No!
you.
I still like them. It's just they're scary.
It's scary.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah, women are women.
I'm just joking on the Stephen King stuff. I had to go.
No, a lot of people
I
do
know.
think he uses solely ghostwriters, and I think it's bullshit because he has a distinctive, very, very, it's Stephen King. That's why people found out that he did the Bachman books,
Yeah.
because who else talks about arc sodium lights? Only one person out of all of the writers talk about arc sodium lights, and that's Stephen King. And that was his big giveaway. As for your writing, I would say you're not going to be good at it unless you try. You have to remember, I have a failed book that I've written about 12 chapters of that I just kind of let go because I didn't know what the hell to do with it. I ran into a really hard piece of writer's block.
The annoying part for me also is that I always think of these things either when I should just always carry around a pad and pencil or run to the bathroom real quick and write myself a note on my phone. Because I always think about it, I'm like, that is a really, like, I would be interested in this story if I was listening to it or reading it. And then I always go back to when I can write down, I'm like, I can't remember what it was.
So do you know who S.H. Cooper? She does a lot of the short stories for No Sleep.
Yep.
She does all of her writing solely on her phone.
Oh, I couldn't do that.
Yeah, I did. I watched a Q&A with her over
Does
on.
she have a
on-
speech to text?
No, she hand typed just
Oh wow.
I could not do that.
full fucking stories like that, and I'm just like, so many people were like, "How do you do that?" And she's just like, "I just kind of got used to it."
I need to see that's why I like Word and stuff like that, is because I need to see the entirety. And when I can only see a small block I mean, sure, we can get a large screen, but still I'm only going to see so much of it before it just disappears.
So the way that I had been writing was either I did it longhand in a book, or I was using WordPad. Well, I had to stop using WordPad because when you submit your files to No Sleep, they have to be in .doc. I'm not fucking buying Microsoft Office. So I got Apache, which is free, and it's a really good word processing program. And it doesn't have like any like that hidden shit like a lot of other companies try to fucking fuck your ass with, you know. It's just, they're just like, here, this is our open source writing thing. So I got Apache because they don't sneak any of that crap stuff in.
There was an open source one that I can't remember, but it was like basically open source Excel, open source Word.
And that's what this one is.
And I kind of like that. I enjoy the open source stuff where people just can collaborate.
Yep. So I picked that up and I just copy and pasted my story because I'd written the whole thing in WordPad. My greatest thing that I can tell you to do is the same thing that Stephen King tells you to do on writing. You're never gonna just sit down and be a prolific writer. You have to do it every day.
And the funny thing is, because there's a Q&A where it was him and George R. Martin, where they're talking, and Stephen King bangs out, you know, a lot of pages in a day, and George R. Martin's like, I write like 2 or 3 a day. And it's just, but I mean, they're both great writers. They both write really.
My favorite thing
books.
about that get together is George R. R. Martin's like, well, don't you get worried about what people are saying on Twitter? And he goes, no, fuck no, fuck Twitter. Yeah, I'm on there. Who gives a shit? That has nothing to do with my job. My job is sitting and writing. That's me. Like Stephen King, he writes for 4 hours a day, and that's just doing hard copy. And then after that, he edits.
Now, how does he? Because that's the thing. Like, how does he write? Does he just write, and is he staying on point for a story, or is he just kind of writing in free float? And then this may go to this story, and this may go to that story. But I'm just writing.
He's always working on one story at a time. And then what happens is after he completes a full novel, then he ends up writing a short story, and that's where all of his short story anthologies come from. He calls them his cleansing palette stories. So when he gets done writing his novels, he's usually got a couple short stories that he can bang out. Now, I can tell you with the story that I wrote, where I had an idea and then I let it flow. I didn't interject into it. I didn't say, nope, I need the character to do this. I just let the characters happen. It's almost like I was just a conduit.
For spirit.
And that's how a lot of people call writing, where it's just like you're not really in control of it. The narrator is in your head and just flows out through you. And that's how it was for me with this story. I had an idea of what I wanted to happen. What ended up happening was a huge twist for me and almost made me sick. And I was like, well, that's where this is going. It's going. And I'm really proud of the way that it turned out. And even if it doesn't get approved, I'm proud of the story, and I'm proud that I wrote it. And I'm proud of myself for submitting it. But I did do things purposefully where I made it easily adaptable to narration. Because it even says on the website, like, if you're gonna do this, try to make it narratable. And then I made a comment over in the No Sleep Facebook group, and one of the editors actually came in and commented and said, we never will be harshly critical towards you. Generally what happens is we get great stories and they just don't
fit well with the kind of
the format doesn't fit, but there's still really great stories. It's just we have so many stories to go through, we don't get a chance to tell people that. But if your story is set up to where it could easily be adapted into an audio format, chances are you're going to get it picked if it's decent.
Which is why I like Storm of the Century from Stephen King, because he basically wrote it as a screenplay for a movie or TV.
Yep. And then it was a mini series.
No, did they make it a mini series?
Yeah, it was like a
two-parter. That's right.
Two-part mini
That's
series.
Because I have the DVD, so I just think of it as a movie.
Yeah, it's just a big movie, but big old 4-hour movie.
I still remember that has one of the freakiest scenes in it, because there's a really old lady and like the mayor of the town and she's being the conduit for whatever this thing is, because they call it like a devil, but he's not really, just a being that lives for a really long time.
Yeah.
And she's like, that she says something to the effect in a really creepy old lady voice, where it's just kind of all scratchy and thin. Yeah. And she's like, they're waiting for you. They're gonna claw your eyes out in hell or something. Just coming out of this, sweet but creepy old lady talking about hell and how the demons are gonna claw your eyes out for all eternity or something like that is just great.
Really, really get your jimmies rustled.
Yeah. It's good.
Stephen King's good at that. I love everything he's written. Almost. Not a big fan of his most recent trilogy. Like, I liked Mr. Mercedes, but when I tried reading End of Watch, I just couldn't get into it. And so I never finished the third book of that. And then it turns out The Outsider is kind of a continuation of that. So I haven't, even though I have The Outsider, I just haven't read it. Instead, I've been reading Murder Rap. Really good.
I've been going through the Horse Heresy, because I'm just on a 40K kick.
Yeah, that's great, though.
I don't read. Although I have books I want to. It's just
So he's on my Kindle account. I have Halo books.
I've read all those multiple times. I used to write Halo fan fiction.
If you like Halo, do you like Resident Evil? As a game?
Yes.
So what you should do is look up, there's several, and the best part about these books is they're written by several different authors, and they do a really good job, whereas movies that are based on games or based on books, they don't feel authentic.
Yeah.
Because people take their own license. They're like, oh, this is going to be, I know the main character's a man, but we're going to change it to a little girl.
Yeah.
But this is really done well. And they go from, the very first Resident Evil and on through, and even add some kind of in-betweens. But I like it a lot.
As long as it's nothing like the movies, because I hate those
No,
movies.
they're way better than... If they would have based the movies on these books, then the movies would have been amazing. Also, Mila Jovovich.
Jovovich.
That was close.
How weird is it that I'm the one who's correcting you? Javarvis.
Mia Jovovich? Really, why do you need so many V's in your name?
Right. Murder Rap will probably be the next one I read. Currently, I'm reading Original Gangstas, Tupac, Dr. Dre, Eazy-E, Ice Cube, and The Birth of West Coast Rap. It's really good.
East Coast all the way.
Same.
Biggie and Tupac.
West Coast.
I know where they fought, though. But Biggie's from the East Coast.
Yeah.
And
Well,
Puff
technically,
Daddy.
Tupac is East Coast.
Yeah.
Then he moved and became West Coast when he got with Suge. And Suge is a evil motherfucking bastard.
Yep.
Keep his ass in prison, please.
Hip hop's best when it comes from New York.
But currently in my reading library right now of books that I've been wanting to sit down and read, I've got the newest Jeffrey Koval book, In the House of Fletcher. He was the main creator for, I believe it's called Marble Hornets, the YouTube storyline with Slender Man and stuff. And then
Ooh, that's a game we could play, Brady. Slenderman and see who lives longest.
Yeah.
there you go, Lost Pages. And then I've got Family of Fang and Claw to read, which is the one that has the Pancake Family in it.
Oh, okay.
And then Twisted Roots by S.H. Cooper. So that's currently what I have coming up into my reading repertoire.
Now, because speaking of that, the Black Farm and the 2 episodes they have on No Sleep, in the book, is there more than just those 2 stories?
Who wrote it?
That I can see the picture and but I can't remember what the.
I unless I have the book, I don't know.
Because I'm kind of
And I don't think I have the Black Farm stories.
Because I don't know, I enjoy the lore of different things, and I just like digging into different stories that are rich.
Yeah.
And I think that's an amazing set of stories. But I just wish that there was a little bit more context instead, because I don't know, I enjoy when things are fleshed out for me instead of leaving me to Wheel of Time ending, where I just kind of have to
Whew.
guess and hope that
Yeah,
what I think comes true.
Have fun with that. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, Robert Jordan, great writer and really good at what he does, and he should be like right up my alley because he's like Stephen King, where he'll tell you about the motes of dust in the air and the smells and the sounds and everything, and it's just, I love the idea of the Wheel of Time.
Mm-hmm.
I've had KJ break it down to me like super easily. And I think what my main issue is like the first 5 books are kind of a fucking dry roast.
Well, the first book is really good, moves pretty quick. Second book
Sucks.
drags.
Third book is fast.
Third book is fast. Then 4th and 5th are when it kind of starts to hit the slog. Then once you hit 6 and 7, a little bit better. 8 better. 9 great. And then what is it? Is there, how many books are there? I can't remember. 14? 15? My goodness. But I've read them all. At least once. And Brady, you've just been silently sitting over there judging us on our...
Well,
No, I
because
don't judge.
Brady's not really into books, and like, especially like when it comes to like, oh, I'm sitting down and I'm writing short stories and I'm writing these things, and you're talking about wanting to write down short stories and stuff. I don't think that's really like in Brady's thing. And actually, I was just getting ready to ask, well, Brady, you've been kind of quiet. What have you been up to? You can bring up your side of the Giant Lord ideas and everything else.
I've been playing a crap ton of Monster Hunter World.
Ooh,
Sick. I kind of like that
So
game.
fun.
Fun to watch.
It fills the Destiny hole in my heart very well because that game's getting boring again. I don't know, Giant Lord, I just always wanted to write some form of music, and I've semi-recently gotten really hard into doom metal, and yeah, it's an outlet. I'm enjoying it. I got riffs upon riffs inside of me that need to come out. I don't do much anymore. I play Monster Hunter. I'm like Hunter rank 14. I got like 3 different long swords and 2 different switch axes. I told you guys this, but I didn't tell the audience. I finally watched AJ and David's favorite movie, The Departed.
Woo.
Yeah, we kind of talked about it right at the tail end of last...
Yeah. That's the last... I watched a documentary last night, the one about if Holocaust jokes are okay to say. It was really good. But yeah, The Departed, man. I need to rewatch it just to let it wash over me again, because that movie is...
It's good.
Yeah.
It just sucks after you've seen it 1,000 times on repeat.
Yeah. I just like anything Scorsese does.
Yeah.
Maybe except Casino, because it was kind of a
I was never in it for...
carbon copy of Goodfellas,
Goodfellas.
just in Vegas.
I like that there was so many, like star-studded. I mean, there's Martin Sheen, it was DiCaprio, it was Mark Wahlberg, there was
Jack Nicholson.
Who's the guy, the big brass balls? That Alec Baldwin.
Yeah, Alec Baldwin was there. I'm trying to think who's the other. Matt Damon.
Yep.
And then there's the British actor, and I can't think of his name right now, but I mean, he was the second-hand man to Jack.
Oh, yeah, he was great.
But yeah, I enjoyed a movie that was star-studded like that, but nobody outshone. They just all seemed to work really well together. Now I don't know if they worked well behind the scenes, but on the screen they worked great.
Oh, yeah.
The cohesion in that story is really, really good. I really enjoyed that movie a lot.
They all should have won Oscars, especially Nicholson.
Yeah. That scene where he's in the porno theater and he's
Yeah.
with his dick, and then it's just like, it's just a dildo. Come on.
And then the guy's name is Ray Winston, but he's bigger across the way. But I think he's been in
Across the pond, he's a really big star.
But I like him
He
a lot.
probably even drove a reasonably priced car at one point.
bet
I think he may have. And he just has that perfect kind of, British gangster voice that just...
Oh, no, I want to fucking look
you can
at
feel
that.
instantly intimidated just by anything he says. And I love that.
What else? What else has been new for Brady? Got anything to banter about? You have anything to rant or rave about?
What's the deal?
Thovoltine? The can's not a
I don't
novel.
know why-
Teens don't drink it.
Why don't they just make the whole plane out of the black box? No. I don't. My life's pretty fucking boring.
Nothing wrong with that.
There's not much to live for anymore, you know?
Poor guy. Makes me so sad.
I suck at Battlefield 1. I used to be, like, really good, but now I'm just...
It's because you're playing all that Destiny, kid.
Yeah.
Just wait till Battlefield 2 comes out. Then
Five.
we'll rock it. What'd I say? Battlefield 2? Yeah, Battlefield 5. Sorry.
Oh, yeah,
well,
I can't
okay.
wait.
Excuse me for thinking that Battlefield 2 would come after Battlefield 1 instead of flipping to Battlefield 5. And even though the Battlefield 5 is World War II and Battlefield 5 should be in the modern day. Whatever, EA.
I actually have a lot of issues with the naming and numbering conventions.
Battlefield 1 is because of World War I, and Battlefield 5 is because V for victory during World War II.
What?
Then why don't they call it Battlefield V? Or Battlefield Victory?
Because that sounds dumb.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, but Battlefield 5. Look, here's the thing. If you're going to put numbers on your fucking games or your console's Xbox, put it in fucking order. Why didn't I get the Xbox 361?
I'm hoping that the next Xbox is the Xbox One 2.
They better do it.
Well,
It's like with the Cube movies.
so, yeah, because it goes Cube 2, Hypercube, and then Cube 0.
Yeah,
But-
it should have
But
been
Cube Zero is
Cube
a prequel.
0 makes sense because yeah, Cube 0 makes sense because it was a prequel.
Yeah. But Cube 2 should have been
Cube Infinity.
squared.
And it actually was Cube squared.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I almost had an aneurysm.
I think they just put Cube onto several of the Cube movies onto Netflix.
There's
Yeah, I
only
remember.
3 of them.
They're on Netflix.
I don't know if they had all of them or if they just put 1 or 2 of them on.
I'm gonna go back and revisit Cube then. I
They're
believe.
Fun.
I still
movies.
remember Cube opening and just how insane that was, where the guy went into the room and got sliced up by all the wires.
Yeah, but you didn't really notice what's happening until like they like do that like slow pan out, and then like the little lines of blood just kind of start bleeding out, and then.
Puddle.
I mean, like the CGI, it's not forgiving anymore. you
No, but
know?
it's still
it's
a great
still
movie.
a great fucking movie. I
We're
recommend.
fans of Next Generation. I think we can look past production value in
Exactly.
movies.
The funny thing, I just started watching Next Generation again, and last night, because my daughter walked into my room at like midnight, and I was like, oh, whatever. My wife's gone. She's working, so just lay in bed. Don't wake me up. But I was watching Next Gen, and she's like, what's this? I was like, you used to watch this with me all the time. She's like, oh, can I sit down and watch it with you again? I was like, you absolutely may.
Yes, you may come here.
Did you start with season 1?
No, I think I was in like season 6 or something like that. I should
Okay.
start at season 1.
No.
When I watch it, I have to, even though I hate certain things, and I hate season 2. Oh, I don't hate season 2
You
as
hate Dr. Pelosi.
I do, but I've come to love her, just like I used to hate Will Wheaton and his character, but I've come to love him and actually
I like
realize
Will
he got
Wheaton's
a.
character. Yeah.
I mean, when initially I didn't like him. I was like, oh, he's a whiny little brat. But then
plays it
I
well.
realized I probably would be the same, if not worse, because I'd also not be that talented. They'd be like, hey, David, we need you to get the shields up, and all of a sudden I'm shooting us backwards.
Yeah.
Why did you
Why
just
did you
fire a
just-
missile? They were
This
threatening me.
child off my-
Get this child off my bridge.
Shoot me out an airlock.
I need to watch another Star Trek series. I don't know which one to do.
I would say AJ will disagree with me, but have you watched Voyager?
No.
Okay, go watch Voyager so AJ won't be all. Well, you should
go-
watch Voyager.
No, I think. Do you enjoy like the more deeper storylines, right?
Oh, yeah.
Watch Deep Space Nine.
Deep Space Nine will. It's the first season is a
The
little
first
bit rough.
season sucks because it's all the religion, and their religion is fucking stupid, and it's based off a fucking wormhole, and it's retarded.
Is DS9 the next in line after
Next
TNG
gen.
to
Yeah,
be released?
because it starts actually. Picard is in the first episode.
Yep.
Because they're
Okay.
dropping off a lot of the crew, like Chief O'Brien and Worf.
And then Voyager came after
Yes.
Yeah.
DS9's run.
Yep. Because then they also have Barclay in
Oh,
Voyager.
cool.
Yeah, Barclay's in Voyager.
Love that guy.
But yeah, DS9 is a lot more about character development. I mean, everything, all of them are about character development, but it's a lot more honed in on the characters because it's basically that a lot of the first seasons are on.
And
It's a space station.
Yeah, it's just a space station. I mean, they do, as the seasons go on, there's like a war in there
The
all over the
Dominion
place.
War and everything else.
They're like
which
into
is-
the Alpha or Gamma Quadrant, and then they're into Cardassian space and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
still, the characters are just what
apparently
I love
the
about that one.
Dominion War is like the greatest thing that ever come out of Star Trek, and I just haven't been able to advance into DS9 because it's boring to me.
Yeah. Now, see, if I want to watch just episodic, cut and dry story, one episode,
Go Voyager.
Enterprise.
Oh, Enterprise. Yeah, I love Enterprise.
So it's a fun show.
I used to give it so much grief, and I feel bad for being like that guy. He's all like, fuck Enterprise. 'Cause
Yeah.
it sucks. Blah, blah, blah. now, like, I really know the
Wish that it
error,
would have,
the error of my ways, and
because it was just getting into its stride by I think it was 4 seasons,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
and then it just. And it's too bad because I like Scott Bakula. I loved him
Scott
in Quantum
Bakula
Leap.
was
Awesome
great.
actor.
His number one was really cool. I enjoy.
Wasn't it the nice
Con ese bubi, bubi, bubi.
girl?
No.
Oh, it's the guy with the southern accent.
Yeah.
Jones.
Something like
I
that.
don't know. Rutger.
But no, T'Pol was super hot.
Yeah.
Super hottie of the show. I think every show needs a super hottie. So Next Gen had,
Several.
some people is gonna say
Riker.
Crusher, some people are gonna say Riker, and then some people like me are gonna say Deanna Troi. And
Crusher,
then
man, she's
Voyager had Jerry Ryan. But
There's
T'Pol,
coffee in that nebula,
yes, there is coffee in that
and
nebula.
I smoke cigarettes all the time.
Yeah. Kate Mulgrew. She's from Iowa.
Yeah,
That's pretty funny.
is she the captain?
yeah.
Yeah, Kate
she's
Mulgrew.
in some new show.
The
Orange is the New Black.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep.
I didn't want to say.
So it's not
and
really a
sound
new
like an
show
idiot.
because it's in like 4 seasons or something like that.
Let's
New to you?
compared to the decade when that.
Okay, I'll
Show
give you
came
that.
out.
I'll give you that.
She looks nothing like she did in Next Gen.
She's much
Or
more badass.
not Next Gen, I'm sorry, in Voyager. Here's the thing, like I think she did really well at giving a good female role model for a younger generation that was watching that show.
Yeah, and I poo-pooed on that show, and I have come to like
Dude,
it a lot.
I poo-pooed on it too. I used to be like, fuck Voyager. Voyager can eat a big bag of dicks, blah, blah, blah. I was never as nice as you were about it with just like, you threatening me? Fire the torpedoes. We only have 70 of them. We still only have 70 of them, but we fired 70. There's 70 of them.
We have learned to replicate our
That's
torpedoes.
in my head. That's all they did was they just learned to replicate it. So you remember the episode in that show where it's all like a year of hell?
Yeah.
So that was actually supposed to be a whole season just like that. And it got nixed. They were like, fuck no, that'd be too depressing. We're not going to do it. I love how much shit happened in that show, though. Like, the person who played Harry Kim talked mad shit about the show. So they kept him an ensign
The whole time.
the whole fucking time. And he never got to advance. I think he got to advance, like, in the last episode. They moved him up one from ensign, but they kept him at ensign because he talked shit about the show on the outside. They're like, oh, you want to talk some
Don't
shit?
bite the hand that feeds you, dude.
Yeah. It's fucking dumb.
You know who my favorite ensign is? Ensign
Ro.
Rowe.
Yep.
She's
Ro
cool as
Laren.
fuck.
That's everybody's favorite ensign.
Yeah.
Besides
Well-
when she became Maquis.
What?
Didn't you?
That's,
Did that happen?
That's Deep Space Nine.
No. Spoiler.
I'm going to
For a show
forget
that's-
in 2 seconds.
Yeah, you're going to be like, she became a Waukee? Like someone who lives in Waukee, Iowa? Okay.
So she's a rich old white person now.
Or Slipknot.
Yeah,
True.
a lot of Slipknot lives out there.
Rich old white people.
You're not that old.
Oh, sick burn.
I would say there's one other thing that came into Netflix, which is just dumb, but I love it every time I watch it, is
A Christmas
Get
Story?
Smart with
Steve Carell.
Steve Carell. I laugh at that every time.
The one his spy.
Yeah,
That one's so
it's
funny.
based on like the 1960s Get Smart with I can't remember what his name is, but a comedian back in the day. And every time I don't know why I know it's coming, but I just laugh every time because he gets tackled by a sky marshal, and he's supposed to like jettison out of this airplane to drop somewhere in Kazakhstan or something like that. So he has handcuffs on, and his tech people gave him this little Swiss Army knife that has a bow and arrow thing that's like a spider nano silk, and he's trying to shoot the thing, and it like goes through his ear and into his face, and I know what's happening, and every time I've watched it a million times, and I
still
laugh
end up
every
laughing
time.
your ass off.
Yes. So you will watch it, you will love it. Steve Carell is amazing.
If you're into documentaries, Brady turned me on to one called something about like the enemy within.
I'll look it up.
And it has to do with a Muslim lady goes and talks to like these extreme Nazi alt-right people. And at first I didn't watch it because I was like, there's enough hatred that I see, and I just don't want to be exposed to any more of it. I'm really happy I watched it. She ended up, I'm not gonna spoil it. I highly recommend you just go out and watch it once I get the name of it from Brady.
Speaking of white supremacists, I kind of want to watch that. I don't know if it's out yet, but the Daniel Radcliffe movie where he's like a police officer who goes undercover in a skinhead something or other,
That sounds cool.
and he has to actually act. I mean, it seems like it's going to be modern day, not modern day, but
Modern day
to this
Harry Potter?
American History X,
Ooh, that'd be fucking good.
and that's a hard movie.
Yeah.
Oh,
American History
so
X
good,
is
but-
such a great film. It's a difficult film to watch.
yeah.
I think
The ending is just kills me.
heart-wrenching.
Oh,
when I was younger, I mean that the social
implications.
of the movie wasn't really that big to me because during that time I'd never seen that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Nowadays it's like at the forefront of
Everything.
everything, and I think American History X is probably one of the most important films you could probably watch in this era, especially when you want to talk about people who get reformed from it. Strong, powerful movie. You got it, Brady?
It's called White Right, Meeting with the Enemy. Meeting the Enemy.
Meeting the Enemy. White Right, Meeting the Enemy. White Right.
It's a lot of tongue
White
twisters.
Right, Meeting the Enemy.
Also watch American Anarchist.
Also,
It's about the guy
watch,
that wrote the Anarchist cookbook.
Ooh,
It is very interesting.
what's it called?
American Anarchist.
Ooh, I'm gonna have to check that out. And if you're in the interest of something crazy, watch Evil Genius.
Yeah. That
About-
was nuts.
About the one with the people who strapped the bomb around that pizza delivery driver's neck.
Mm.
It's so good.
Another good documentary about like conspiracy stuff is Wormwood. It's about the guy that working on MK Ultra who jumped out of a window in New York, like 5 stories up. The CIA killed him. It's a multi-part documentary series, and it is fascinating.
See, I think that should be our next episode.
If you
is
like anything
conspiracy theory.
MK
Ooh, I like
Ultra-
the idea of doing a conspiracy theory episode.
Oh man. Get out of the
Brady-
way, guys.
Brady's gonna be taking over this one.
Here's
And
a
we'll
sneak-
be the one sitting here.
Here's a sneak peek.
Like-
Research Hollow Moon.
I feel like this is going to be you're our Eddie Bravo.
I'm gonna yell. I'm just gonna point and yell. That's all I'm gonna do.
You don't. Here's the thing. You're giving this man a platform to speak the ultimate truth.
Yeah. That's final truth.
That's the final truth.
I mean, let's just say if you want to know the truth and you don't want to be bootlicker normie anymore, just listen to the next few episodes of this fine production. Also, Earth's Hollow. That's where reptilians come from.
Oh my God. Shut the fuck up, Alex Jones.
We're on a flat dinner plate. The sun is only 8 miles up.
Yeah, we're moving up through space at 9.8
That
meters
is,
per second
yep.
squared.
That's why gravity.
Not real.
Fake
The,
news. Fake news.
The ice walls hold the water on.
I can't even right now.
And the Lord Jeebus above keeps it all in motion.
Yep. Thank goodness for that turtle.
See the turtle of enormous girth. On his back, he holds the earth.
Before we do,
He is strong. He is keen.
before we end this one, I just want to say also, because once again, 40K, because I have these, because I just got Karn the Betrayer.
When are they going to get to 50K?
Probably never.
I knew that was coming.
Well, technically, I guess that we could go to 50K because they've already introduced 30K, the Horus Heresy, as like new
Right.
models. But that I have this anxiety in trying, because I've primed them, and I want to paint them because I want to start a Corn Berserker and Corn army, like Corn themed. Because you also
Corn?
get
Corn.
Corn is
Oh.
Khorne.
Okay.
Corn, the Lord of Skulls. He's like a big demon who just enjoys people
Ooh.
killing, and
That
he doesn't
sounds
care who
neat.
it is. And I have this huge anxiety. Like I keep on wanting to paint him, but I'm like I just am afraid to because I haven't painted anything in 5 years plus. I'm just really
it.
apprehensive. I'm just,
You're-
I'm gonna do it. I'll do it tomorrow when I have the time off. I'm off.
You got to
I'll do
smoke a
it.
ton of pot and then do it. That'll be really cool. Just sit there. Yeah. Oh, sweet.
David smoking weed.
Well, if it ever becomes illegal in Iowa,
It is illegal right now.
legal.
If it ever becomes illegal, I'll do it.
If it
Well,
ever becomes
you know,
illegal,
Trump is trying to win the stoner left by pushing for the legalization of marijuana.
He'll have to get rid of that cute little elf Jeff Sessions first.
He does kind of look like a little elf.
He's- give it-
he's a cute old man who is disgusting.
He's
Just give it
he's just
time,
full of
because
evil.
every single person in his cabinet has jumped ship at some point in time. So
True.
you just got to give it a week or two, and Jeff Sessions will have some scandal where he'll have to leave.
Sessions ain't going nowhere. And I mean, when it comes to like the current political climate, like everything's fuckered for us right now because he got another SCOTUS pick. So I hope you enjoyed America as it was, because now we're going into America as it will be. And it's not going to be a good place. We're going to overturn Roe v. Wade, which I'm pretty sure some people are going to be happy about. I do see a religion being chosen as the main acting religion for America. I don't think they're going to uphold the Constitution like they're supposed to. I could see things turning bad real fast.
I would like to see a middle of the road judge. That would be But
He got that
it won't
one
be.
guy, though, and he's a terrible guy.
terrible.
Bad
guy.
news.
Well, I mean, the thing is, the whole time I was watching, like, his, like, here's my announcement for him. He was just like, I'm a Christian, or I'm a Catholic. I love being a Catholic. Catholicism is great, blah, blah, blah. And it's just all like,
Well, they already
you're the
have.
largest fucking boy rape ring in the fucking
I
world.
think they already have. I mean, several of the justices already are Catholic, but I mean, they're also. You also have their body of work of
Yeah.
what you know. Either they're
But he's
Right
a
or left.
conservative leaning justice. I don't think justice should be able to,
affiliate.
yeah.
They're just uphold the law.
They're-
I would agree with that.
They're just judges, and they're supposed to uphold the Constitution and adhere to the Constitution. That's it. They shouldn't have like a
conservative or a
liberal
liberal
bias.
bias.
Yeah.
I agree.
At this point, the Constitution's just a buzzword.
I do
talking
kind of.
point.
It was interesting. I was listening to Joe Rogan. Actually, I like this idea of instead of having, a president, one man or woman, to decide that we have a more, like a body of people who all in concert, kind of like the Supreme Court, but not the Supreme Court, kind of governing the country and moving it forward instead of just having everything on the back of one person. And I kind of enjoy. I like that idea.
Why hasn't throughout history it always been just one person in charge?
I think
Be-
it's just because that's
Because
always,
it's always
Is it
like
easier?
a power struggle type thing. Some
Because you're not going to
people
get a
always
gridlock.
need to have a need to feel power. So if you put the power into many hands,
It can
There's
just
always going to be
evolve
one
faster.
person who's gonna like try to strive to destroy it, and
Or be the alpha in the group.
yeah. So I mean, it should work.
And I think it's human nature.
It's just
Yeah.
it's human nature to be destructive. We're chaotic.
Well, and also
beings.
to want avarice and power and greed and
yeah.
money and that's because that's the funny thing that I mean, I want money. I would like nice things, but I find myself moving more towards things like this, where we do more community of family and friends and enjoying my dumb hobby of painting stupid miniatures, which I mean, I could go and grab marbles and be like, this is Karn the Betrayer.
Yeah.
But I mean, I pay for the model because I want to have some correct representation,
Exactly.
and I enjoy these things that bring me happiness instead of chasing the dollar. And
See, but you're in a really good place right now where you own a home, you know, your family life, at least outward appearances, looks really steady and
Just
really
gets me.
yeah, I know.
Why do you think there's a bed down here?
Yeah, I know.
Go to the basement.
Every time I come here, like, it's just like one of these nights I'm gonna get so sleepy I'm just gonna crash on that bed because it just looks so comfortable.
And it's so cold down here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is really nice down here.
Oh yeah.
It also gets super dark once you turn all the lights off.
Nope, we can't do that.
And it's haunted.
It's where the demons.
It's not haunted.
That's what Rowan
I did want to
says.
talk about you guys making me go upstairs because you were afraid of the whatever last
The
podcast.
rapist that's gonna choke us to death.
The
and then
door
rape
was
our
unlocked
corpses?
and it was spooky.
The door wasn't okay. Maybe it wasn't locked, but
You never know. The
Even
the Ankeny rapist.
yeah, even really nice areas get crime.
Yeah, especially this area because it's further from the equator.
Okay.
cool story, bro. All right. Well, we've been
Um,
rambling. I feel like for probably about 2 hours. Now.
No, but this is good rambling. And I feel like we have a really good episode right here. And I've really enjoyed just having an episode to just sit and talk and bullshit about whatever. You don't have to sit there and study some crazy shit like I'm going to have to do for next week. I'm going to have to get my conspiracy boner up.
We could just pick like one or two that we like a lot.
All
I'll
right.
let Brady, you pick. I mean, you don't have to pick right now. I'm just saying you pick
Oh.
and tell us.
I'd keep it broad.
All right, I'm going to cover 9/11 was an inside job.
Awesome. It's all Dick Cheney's fault.
Also, the great power
Aliens built the pyramids.
of
That's just common knowledge.
no, the fact that 9/11 was more than just an inside job, it was also a big chaos magic spell.
Yep.
Or
To
I wouldn't mind
funnel
talking about like the
power.
Bohemian.
Rhapsody.
No,
I'm just a poor boy,
No.
nobody loves me.
Bohemian Grove group, and how they're supposed to be the movers and shakers of the world.
Never heard of
Never
them.
heard of it?
No.
All right, that's what I'm talking about.
I know. Who's that group that every year they hold like at
That's
some villa?
Yeah, that's the Bohemian
Oh
Grove
yeah,
group.
that's
Where-
terrifying.
Like presidents and
The most powerful people
people.
in the world meet for like 3
it's
days.
basically like a big key party where everybody just does drugs and
And
Well,
Shags.
I'm excited to hear about it.
And
I probably won't do
controls.
9/11 because everybody knows 9/11 shit. I will find something, a fun conspiracy, because we're gonna have our government conspiracy from you. We're gonna have our global
Aliens.
conspiracy from him, and maybe I'll try to find like a local conspiracy.
Ooh, I like it.
Randstad. Was it Alien?
Actually, I already know a local conspiracy concerning Brandstad. Thank you so much. All right.
A tiny alien was controlling
I'm
him via
set.
his mustache.
No,
was,
it's
that
a-
was the Wi-Fi for.
It's a really tasteful antenna.
Nobody will
stash.
notice.
No.
All right. This has been 30 and Nerdy. We hope that you've lasted probably however long this is.
Yeah, I have no clue how long we've been here.
Long
All I know is that my body's starting to kind of like want to stretch and move. So it must have been a good long amount of time. Thank you so much for listening. Again, if you are up for it, donate to our Patreon. If people are donating to Kylie Jenner, and she already is a 9 millionaire, seeking out that billionaire status.
I have reached out to her to have her give us that $1,200. She hasn't responded yet, but
Dude, I'll hawk her
I'm
makeup
hopeful.
on the show.
I'll wear her makeup on the show. Nobody can see me.
All right.
He went there. Okay.
My name's Brady.
My name is AJ,
And I'm David.
and we'll catch you next time.
Research Holloman.